What's going on, guys? 2023 is the year to start accumulating Bitcoin because in 2024, 2025, that should be the next explosive Bitcoin bull run. And I'm going to show you why. This is not financial advice, but this is what I believe will happen and what a lot of Bitcoin experts will also be telling you. And I will show you why. Not only are we going to look at historical data of what's happened in the past, but more importantly, we're going to look at what is about to happen in the future. Yes, the Fed is going to pivot probably sometime mid 2023 to late 2023 because this is not sustainable for them. That will help Bitcoin, but that is not going to be the real reason why we're going to see the next huge bull run. The reason why is because of supply and demand. This is mempool.space. You can check out the website, but this is showing you every single Bitcoin block. So here's all of the past Bitcoin blocks, and then here are all the next Bitcoin blocks coming up. On average, 10 minutes, a new Bitcoin block is mined, and then the person who finds that block will get rewarded 6.25 Bitcoin. So this person, whether it was an organization or an individual, just got rewarded 6.25 Bitcoin 2 minutes ago. This person, you can see 7 minutes ago, 7 minutes ago, 21 minutes ago, 35, 44, an hour. So you can see sometimes they're closer than others, but it ends up averaging out to be around 10 minutes, and that is in the code. Not going to dive into that, but you can look into it. It's super interesting. So you can see when these next blocks are expected, and whoever finds this one will get rewarded that 6.25 Bitcoin. But it wasn't always like that. Back then, when Bitcoin first came out in 2009, the reward was 50. You got 50 Bitcoin for mining a block. It was a lot easier back then, and 50 Bitcoin wasn't even $1, wasn't even worth $1 back in 2009, but that was the reward. Then in 2012, it got cut in half. That's because it had its first halving event. In the code, on average 4 years, Bitcoin will halve. To be exact, every 210,000 blocks. So once we get another 210,000 blocks later, there will be another Bitcoin halving. And it'll keep on doing that until around the year 2140. So we'll all probably be long dead before the last Bitcoin is mined. But you can see it went from 50 to 25, 12.5, 6.25. That's where we are right now. And then sometime in 2024, here we go. If we go down to its dates, so you can see here's when all of the days occurred for its Bitcoin halving. The last one was on May 11th, 2020. The next expected Bitcoin halving is going to be sometime in 2024. Let's see. The exact date, I think, is sometime people are predicting in May or April, around that time. But that's when the next Bitcoin halving should happen. That should be after we found another 210,000 blocks. And let's look at the chart. What has happened in the past during these halving events? So you can see right now we are down a lot for the year, 64%. So that is hurting a lot of people's pockets. But let's look back in time. You can see this only goes back to 2012. So we can't look at what happened between 2009 and 2012. But let's look at the logarithmic chart. 2012, the Bitcoin halving. Let's refer to the dates. November 28th, 2012. So if we jump back here, let's go to November, was right here. Bitcoin was $10. It halved, and then about a year later, it skyrocketed all the way up to $1,000 in pretty much a year, a little bit over a year. So we could draw some lines here. November 2012. That purple line was the first halving event, and then Bitcoin went up 10,000%. The next Bitcoin halving event in 2016, it was July of 2016. So let's see, September, August, July. Let's draw a line. May, June, July. That was the next halving event. And then you could see around 12 to 18 months later, it went up 3,000%. And then the most recent halving event was May 11th, 2020. So let's add that line. So let's see, May 2020 right there. And then if we want to measure that from here, this is in the way. There we go. From this halving event to its top, about 1,000%. It was, let's see, right around 69,000. So, okay, 700%, whatever. Still a great return over that time. So what's happening with all these booms and busts? It's because of the halving event. You're getting this constant supply for 4 years of 50 Bitcoin every single 10 minutes, and then you cut the supply in half. When you cut the supply in half like that, something's going to happen to the demand. And then you have this massive run up with demand. It comes down because it turns into a bubble, and then it happens again. It halves again 4 years later. You have this supply shortage, so the demand has to run up so it could correct it, and then it comes back down, and then it keeps on happening. So the next Bitcoin halving event is going to be sometime in 2024, whether it be April or May. So right about there. And you could see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 months there. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 months. And then you had the double top recently. So that was 12 months and that was 18 months. Anywhere between 12 and 18 months is pretty much where it tops out, because that's after the supply shortage, after it ends up being felt by everyone, the effect of the supply shortage, and then you have the FOMO come into play. And I think all of us should be very familiar with supply shortages right now, because we are seeing that at the grocery store. We're seeing it at the gas station. We just had this massive run up of inflation all over the world. Now it's starting to come down. That is because of all these supply shortages and bottlenecks. Bitcoin is no different, except it is programmed to have this supply shortage every 4 years. So we're coming down. We're 60, 67, 68% down for the year. From the top, it's even worse. It's around 70%. So I would say now would start to be a good time to accumulate. I'm not saying throw all your money in right now, because we very well could go down another 50%. We could go down even further. But when this time comes for the halving event, look at what has happened in the past. You would have this slow and steady rise over the next year to year and a half. So I don't want to miss the boat. I'm going to continue to accumulate in 2023. The halving will happen, and then the next bull run should happen in 2024. And it should go all the way into maybe a little bit of 2025. So if you want to time it, you'd want to get in maybe about now, especially during the halving, and then let it ride up. And then you'd want to sell sometime in 2025, maybe 12 months after if you want to be conservative, or maybe you could hold out for that 18 months. Maybe you'll get a double top, maybe you'll get a little bit higher, but that's pretty much generally around the places where I at least believe, again, not financial advice, where you should buy and where you should end up selling, because it has happened every single time, and it will continue to happen as Bitcoin continues to have Bitcoin adoption continues to grow. It's programmed. It is programmed to do this. That's my thoughts on it. Guys, if you like this video, make sure to smash that like button. And as always, I will see you in the next one.